There's a massive controversy that's playing out over the Kerala government's decision to ease COVID restrictions for Bakrid. So from Sunday to the 20th of July, restrictions have been eased in the state. And this at a time when Kerala is the worst affected state in the country by coronavirus, reporting 10,000 plus cases for the last many days. The Indian Medical Association has now put out a warning. They warned the Kerala government over the easing of COVID curbs. In a very strong statement, the doctors' body said that it's pained to see the situation in Kerala. The IMA is also threatened to take the Kerala government to court if it fails to enforce COVID-appropriate behaviour. The IMA said that the decision is unfortunate, especially after several states had done the exact opposite. They called off mass religious gatherings, including the Kavadi Yatra, over the COVID situation. The Pinarayi Vijayan government on Saturday announced the easing of restrictions across the state for 3 days in view of Bakrid on July 20th. And this at a time when Kerala has reported over 13,000 fresh cases in a single day. Kerala, meanwhile, has vaccinated over 50% of the adult population against COVID with at least one dose of the vaccine. But that's simply not enough. They cannot afford to let their guard down. Gopi Krishnonithan is joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram with more details. Gopi, good morning. A lot of questions that have been asked of the administration over this decision, because what we're seeing is that there's been no let-up really in the cases for it to be followed by restrictions being eased. What's the justification that's coming from the government? And also, if you could tell us, what are the curbs that have been used?
Well, very good morning, Akshita, because Kerala government and the health department in particular seems to be caught in a very tricky situation, because over the last few weeks there was massive protest and massive uproar against the state government's decision of imposing very strict lockdowns. Because if you look at the situation in Kerala 1 week ago, the non-essential shops, which includes the jewelries, the other shops and other mechanical items, and all of the non-essential shops used to open only 3 days in a week. That too used to be on alternate days during the week. And now this hasn't really gone down well with the merchants, because they have been in huge crisis over the last 1.5 years or more. And that is when the Merchants Association, the Shopkeepers Association, started raising voices against the state government. At one point, we even saw a protest in Kozhikode's famous SM Street, which is actually one of the most important economic hubs in northern Kerala. And after that, the Merchants Association have been consistently trying to put pressure on the state government, asking the government to ease the restrictions on opening shops for Bakrid, because that is actually one of the most important festivals during this season. And also this is the time when merchants get a lot of business. Mostly it's actually something related to the business. And that is how the state government, after holding discussions with the health experts and the representatives of Merchants Association, the government decided to ease the restrictions for 3 days. That was on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday tomorrow, which will be the Bakrid. And the restrictions are more or less related to only opening of shops. This doesn't imply that people can go out in large numbers and celebrate the Bakrid, because the government has eased restrictions only on opening of shops, because the shops that used to open 3 days a week has now been allowed to open for 3 continuous days, so that there won't be much rush on the isolated number of days when these shops are opening. Also, on the other side, Bakrid is not a kind of festival where you would see huge gathering on the streets of people going out in large numbers to celebrate like an Onam or a Christmas. But it's more or less something confined to the mosques and churches. And government also said that only up to 40 people who have been either vaccinated with at least one dose of the vaccine should be allowed to come and offer prayers in the mosque and other masjids for this festival.
All right, Gopi, thank you for those details. The IMA, the Indian Medical Association, has clearly put out a warning now to the Kerala government, saying that it's unacceptable to relax norms now. So Kerala has eased some restrictions for Bakrid. Other states have meanwhile announced fresh restrictions because of the fact that you see a trend of COVID cases slightly going up. Karnataka has extended the night curfew across the state, and all cinema halls, multiplexes, auditoriums will be allowed to operate with 50% of its seating capacity. Haryana has also announced the extension of night curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. for 1 week. Hotels, gyms and restaurants will be allowed to operate only with 50% capacity. What about Goa? Well, the curfew has been extended in Goa up to July 26th. The Uttar Pradesh government, meanwhile, has said that citizens coming from states with more than 3% positivity will need a negative RT-PCR test report not older than 72 hours. Those who have got both doses of the vaccine are exempt, however, from this rule.